I'm here with Bill Schultz, the Executive Director of the Miracle League of Dane County. Welcome.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks
for coming. I appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Well, I heard your message at a local chamber event for the Cottage Chamber of Commerce. And I, like many in the room, were moved by your story. And so, my wife was in the room too, and I don't think there was many dry eyes, to be honest, including myself. So after that, my wife and I were moved, and we were inspired by your message and what you were trying to accomplish. So I have a surprise for you that I failed to tell you, to this point.
Okay.
My wife and I own the Huemmer home team, and we have decided that we're going to do up to $1,000 match from now until through the fundraiser.
Great.
And I have a dear friend, Mark and Lori Rundle. They have also decided to do $1,000 match. So for every dollar that you receive from now until through the fundraiser, it will be $3. And so I also want to encourage others that if you would like to be $1,000 contributor, where we can match your 1,000 too, that would be great. So either you can do donations through the link on the website, or you can let us know that you would like to be $1,000 matcher. And as the donations come in through the weekend, we will match up to $1,000 each. So I love to get 4 or 5 people so that every dollar is $5, every 1,000 is 5,000. So
that's wonderful.
Awesome. I'm excited. I'm super excited.
That's
and
great.
Once everyone hears your story, that I think that they'll be excited too.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us a little about what it is that you're doing. Tell us a little about your story.
Well, I'm an old codger. I was born in 1945, but in 1953, when I turned 8 years old, I was born with, first of all, a right leg that didn't develop and had to be amputated shortly after birth, and then my left arm and left hand didn't develop. But despite that, my parents let me try anything.
Yeah.
And I was always attracted to anything involving a ball. But the first love was baseball.
Yep.
And so back then, you organized your own games
in the streets,
at the corner lot, in the streets.
Yeah.
And I was able to keep up with the kids until about the age of about 9 or 10. But we played every day in the summertime. Come the age of 8, we all became eligible to try out for the Little League.
Yep.
So we went up for the evening tryouts, and they made us hit, run, field, catch fly balls, bat, the whole thing. Everybody's tryout took about a half hour to 40 minutes. And they told us the next day to come back, and we would be assigned a team.
Yep.
And my friends were all excited because they said, "Bill, you did fabulous. I mean, you were probably above average." So I went home kind of on cloud 9.
Yep, feeling good.
So the next night, I went back up to the field with my parents, and as we were standing there waiting, this man approached us. Didn't look very happy. It turned out to be the commissioner of the Little League, and he walked up to me very hesitantly, put his hand on my shoulder, and said, "Billy, we can't let you play because with your artificial limb, you're either going to hurt yourself or hurt somebody." And at the age of 8, that was pretty devastating. Here I am, all my friends are inside the fence playing baseball, and I'm going to be on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
And I was devastated. I went home. I didn't cry, but my mom said, "You sure look like you're crying."
Yep.
So some good things came out of it later, but it just really, really hurt. So fast forward umpteen decades later,
Exactly.
here in Madison, I'm watching NBC Nightly News one night with my wife. They have a segment called Inspiring America.
Okay.
And the next thing I see on the screen are kids with wheelchairs, walkers, kids having difficulty walking, autistic children, Down syndrome kids playing baseball on a baseball field. And I'm saying, what is
Yeah,
this?
what is it?
So David Price, a Boston Red Sox pitcher, wanted to do something for his hometown in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Okay.
And he heard about this organization called the Miracle League. And the Miracle League is a national organization that helps communities build baseball fields specifically designed for kids with disabilities, both physical and cognitive. And what I saw on the screen was these kids with a volunteer beside them being pushed to first base or helping the child field the ball or helping them run around, quote, run around the bases and help them back.
Yep.
And it's a rubberized synthetic surface that allows any type of mobility item to
Yep.
just navigate.
Stay on. Yep.
It included walk-in dugouts where the kids, when they were done, they could reel in a wheelchair into a walk. I mean, they got the experience of playing
A real
baseball
Yep.
with a disability. Well, the next thing that happened was I started crying and
I imagine.
or tearing up. But
Yep.
my wife looked at me and she said, "I know exactly what you're going to do right now."
That's great.
That's exactly what I did. I called the next morning to the Miracle League headquarters in Atlanta, and I said, "I saw this, and I'm really interested. Do you have any fields in Wisconsin?" And they said, "Well, we actually have 6 or 7: Green Bay, Appleton,
Wow.
Manitowoc, Milwaukee, Kenosha, Eau Claire, and La Crosse."
Wow.
I said, "Well, how about Madison?" I said, "No, we don't have one in Madison." I said, "Well, you might have found your guy."
Yeah, they did.
So to make sure, I flew down to Atlanta and spent 2 days with the organization down there, going through an actual orientation. And it validated, confirmed everything that I had hoped for.
Yeah.
Very well-run organization. They do not. They give you the game plan. They gave me a binder about this thick.
Wow.
This is the how-to.
Yep. Yep.
The only how-to, or the only thing they don't do is they don't finance.
Write you the check. Yep.
It's an independent league in your local community where
Yep.
you have to finance the field. So I came back and they said the first thing that you need to worry about is finding a field, finding land.
Right. Yep.
And so I went over to the Middleton Parks and Rec superintendent because he was near my house and met with him. And he said, "Gosh, Bill, I actually know about the Miracle League because I actually saw the one in Appleton. Unfortunately, we don't have any land in Middleton that you could utilize because all the fields are being taken by all our."
Sure.
But you know what? I'm going to call a meeting of all the Parks and Rec superintendent
That's great.
in Dane County.
Yeah.
And he did. The next day I get a meeting notice on my Outlook page, and 7 Parks and Rec superintendents showed up.
Wow.
And I showed them the video, and they all just said, "Gosh, we got to find a spot for it." The Madison Parks and Rec superintendent was very discouraged because he said, "Bill, it's going to take me 5 years to find you a place."
Okay.
But the next day, I get a call from both the DeForest and Cottage Grove Parks and Rec superintendents saying to us, "We are expanding or building an existing park, and we want to find a spot for this."
Awesome.
So as it turned out, the village of Cottage Grove, Sean Brusiger, the Parks and Rec superintendent, just bent over backwards, and he asked his engineering firm to reorder his plan. There were originally tennis courts planned behind the existing playground.
Yep.
And he just said, "You know, the amount of space you told me you need is exactly about what we have there." And so he moved the tennis courts elsewhere and said, "This is where we could put the field." The next step was for me to talk to the Village Parks and Recs Commission.
Yep.
And they kind of gave me a unanimous thumbs up, and then I presented to the village board. And they did exactly the same thing. And so in the space of 2 or 3 months, here we are getting the land.
This
I just went home just speechless. My wife said, "You're not saying it." Well, it's good. It's good news. It's good news.
Oh,
So we got the land now. The next wonderful thing happened. A couple of construction people in town. One of whom, Greg Sweeney, is a retired project manager from Findorf.
okay.
Is an avid baseball fan and a brother of a great friend of mine. And he stepped forward and said, "I would love to get involved in this."
Wow.
And there's another individual, Robin Roberts, who, so we've got the land, we've got the construction expertise,
Awesome.
which is above my pay grade,
Yep.
and so the next step is the financing.
Sure.
And
Sure.
so we're in the middle of raising funds. The whole complex, which we want to do the right way, it not only includes the field surface, which is actually colored just like a baseball field.
Yeah, that's neat.
And it's the size of a little league field.
Yeah, we do have this may be a little hard to see with the sun, but this is what Bill's talking about.
Yeah, it's
And the base paths are all the synthetic surface.
it's
Yep.
it's not one, it's almost one piece, but and it's colored just like a baseball field.
Yeah.
And so there's no the ability to move wheelchairs and walkers or kids having trouble walking is A plus. So, but the complex we want to build includes the bleachers, walk-in dugouts, fencing, scoreboard, and lights.
Yes.
The reason why we'd like to have lights is because we'd like to have 2 games a night, 3 games a week.
Okay.
Because our goal is to get between 100 and 150 kids the first year.
That's incredible.
And starting in 2021. Our plan right now is that we would love to, well, it would be great to be able to build the field this year.
Wow.
And our pressure point is May through September because the first step is to pour an asphalt base
Foundation. Sure.
underneath this surface. And the asphalt, the soil has to be a certain temperature and it takes 30 days to cure.
Okay.
Once that's done, the rest of it can be done a lot quicker. But to do that, we don't want to do any of this until we raise the funds.
Okay. And that's $420,000.
$420,000 for everything I just mentioned.
Okay.
The service itself is $135,000,
Okay.
and then the rest is
Yeah,
adds up to
lights.
$420.
Okay. All right. And right now you have accumulated $180,000.
Yes. So we're
That's incredible.
about 36% there.
That's incredible, Bill.
So in the next couple of months, in order for us to go move forward, 2 or 3 months is the critical
Crucial.
part.
Yeah.
If we get to $300,000, it will give us a comfort level to perhaps go ahead with
The
the
foundation.
asphalt.
Sure.
Yeah.
And again, for those that are watching or that will watch, Bill's in the process of raising money for the Miracle League of Dane County, a baseball league for children with cognitive and physical disabilities.
Yes.
And the task that he's taken on is a big task. $420,000 is no joke. For those that may have jumped on here later, my wife and I are willing to match up to $1,000 in donations through the weekend. And then I also have a dear friends, Mark and Lori Rundle, that are willing to match up also another $1,000 through the weekend. So if you're watching, I would love for people to go to the website, check it out. There's a lot of good stuff, and the story all's there too, and the image of the field. But if you are interested in donating, maybe comment your commitment to the Miracle League of Dane County, and if you also are interested in being a $1,000 matcher with myself and the Rundles, don't do the donation on the site. Just make a commitment to myself. We'll also get Bill's phone number and email available. Post the live Facebook feed. where we can physically write checks and make those $1,000 matches work. So
that'd be great. You know, a postscript to my story, which some people might think, you know, what real impact does this have on kids with disabilities? The next day, that commissioner called me up and said, Billy, you need to be on a team. And he said, I'd like you to be our bat boy. And at first I thought, well, I don't know. Well, then he said, I'll give you a uniform. I said, okay,
there it is.
okay. But the thing was, now I was part of a team. I was part of a group of kids, making new friends. It certainly built my self-confidence up. And that ultimately led to me being interested to being a student manager of 3 sports teams in high school and 2 in college. And I know the feeling of being included,
Yep.
And accepted and being part of a team. Yep. It's helped me in my business career. It's helped me in my personal life. Another story, past summer, the Mallards had a Miracle League night and a fundraiser. And they said, you know, anyone in your part of your group can throw out the first ball tonight.
Wow.
So I said, it'd be cool if we could find a kid with a disability who loves baseball to throw out the first pitch. Well, through some emails to moms, one popped up. A little boy named Andrew, autistic child. He wanted to throw the first pitch out. So we get to the field. I don't know if you've ever seen a rodeo where they're trying to hold down
the bull or the house before he's ready to go.
He had to stay outside the fence. And he's trying to climb the fence. And he's all over the place, and his father's just holding on dear life. And we got him out to the mound. I said, Andrew, listen, you can go halfway to home plate, and you can throw there. It's okay. He said, Mr. Schultz, I want to throw it from the mound. And he did. He threw it on one hop, but right to the catcher. But the real thing that really kind of breaks me up is that 3 weeks later, he's in a grocery store with his dad. And out of nowhere, he says, Dad, you know what I did? I threw out the first pitch. This is 3 weeks later on autistic child. It does have an impact. And, you know, and some of these children might even not really get the grasp of baseball. What they get the grasp of is they're with other kids in a fun environment.
Yeah.
But I call it a win-win-win. First of all, it's a win for the kids. Secondly, these volunteers are typically high school students.
Yep.
And they are amazed by what these kids can do. So I think the lesson they learn is that the boundaries they think these kids have is not necessarily the case.
You got it.
The next group of people that win-win is the parents.
Yep.
The parents are sitting there in the bleachers, seeing their child, having fun,
laugh, smile. Yep.
Just doing something perhaps they didn't even think he or she could do.
You got it.
And they build a bond with the other parents. But there's a fourth. Somebody in Cottage Grove told me this, and I said it's a win-win for the village of Cottage Grove.
Yep. Yep.
So it's a 4-win thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And for Dane County,
for Dane County too, because we're going to get kids from Madison, East Side, even maybe Jefferson County.
Yep.
So
No, that's great, and I think your message about being part of a team, there's a lot to learn, regardless of your role, with the team, and the smiles, are contagious.
We're going to be putting some videos on our website, and there's some videos on there that would just see exactly that.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the volunteers. So each child has its own volunteer. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, each child beside them has an assigned what they call buddies, and they are at their side throughout the game, hitting, going to first base, fielding the ball, taking around the bases, and hitting. And so they are supervised. These volunteers are go through training, and so again, I'm getting a little emotional. These volunteers, we have a lady who called Miracle League headquarters and said, she lives in Columbus, Ohio. She said, do you have a field in Madison, Wisconsin? I'm moving there.
Hmm.
And they said, no, but there's one being planned. She said, can you give me the contact information?
Yeah.
She said, I've been a volunteer in the Miracle League in Columbus, Ohio since 8th grade.
Wow.
I
Wow.
mean, the impact she told me, probably, you know, is equal to what you hear across the country.
Yep.
And so, and then you have adult supervisors as well.
Sure. On the field.
And we would bring in an occupational therapist, physical therapist to do the training.
Awesome.
So this is not just, okay, kids,
Yeah.
have at it.
And so are the volunteers or the buddies, are they assigned to a specific child, or does that kind of vary from night to night, week to week?
We try to have the same volunteer for the child as much as possible throughout the whole season, because they literally, there's a friendship and attachment.
You got it.
And with autistic children not liking change,
Yeah. That
and they see
helps.
the same person show up.
Yeah.
But I think it's advantageous for both the child and the volunteer to have maybe a longer term connection.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Like I said, I know that you get teared up a little bit talking about this, and I do too. And I think your passion is clear. Again, that's why I wanted to bring this in front of other people and get the word out about the opportunity to change these kids' lives. And you're doing it out of your pure heart. I mean, this is something that is something you enjoy and are passionate about. And when I first met you, I knew that.
Yeah, very much so.
So tell us about this weekend's fundraiser on Saturday at Oakstone here in Cottage Grove.
Yes, it's going to be at this Saturday, March 7th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're going to have an all-day silent auction, and we've got a number of different categories of items, including sports memorabilia, artist drawings, apparel, many different things. We've got autographed baseballs from some major leaguers, and all the proceeds will go to the Miracle League. We also we'll have a couple of 50-50 raffles, and again, that one of those 50s is going to go to the Miracle League, and Oakstone has kind of gone out of their way to kind of choose us as a charity they'd like to support. So we'll be there all day from 10 to 5 this Saturday, and again, it's all the proceeds from the silent auction and the raffle go to the Miracle League, which is incredible.
That is incredible. So if other than fundraiser, and again, you can donate, go to the website, click donate, any funds help. Encourage your friends, encourage other people that are passionate about baseball. If someone else outside of a monetary contribution wanted to help, what can they do? What should they do, or how should they do it? How should they get a hold of you?
Well, my email address and phone number is on the website. I'd like you to bookmark our website because the volunteer page is not totally finished just yet, but there's going to be about 12 different categories of jobs or opportunities for volunteers at the league field, and so that will be up and running here very shortly as far as the categories go and how you can sign up. Our focus, quite honestly, right now is first on the land and now on the capital. But definitely they can do that, and we're going to put perhaps a description of each volunteer position and what it involves. And this lady that moved from Columbus is going to kind of do a lot of coordination with the volunteers because she's got the experience.
That's great.
And
and then if someone wanted to host an event or create an event, all things that you want and are willing to participate, correct?
I am wide open. Service clubs, community groups, neighborhood groups, run a fundraiser for us, an event of some sort. I'm all ears. I'd love to hear from you because this is, to my wife's chagrin, not chagrin, this is my full-time job right now. I lost my day job, I guess, or ignoring it. That's what
yes, exactly. I see that one of Mark Rundle, again, I mentioned him. He's joined us here in the chat. Mark and Lori Rundle are going to match up to $1,000.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. What would you like to? What would the message be to finish here? Well, actually, first I got two things. I'm sorry. You authored a book. Just summarize why you did that and what the book was about.
Well, I want to write down somewhat of a legacy for my family and everything they did for me and my friends. And as I wrote it and talked to people about it, they said, "Bill, you have a bigger story to tell here," because I think this message would resonate with many people. So my wife and other people encouraged me to write a book. That was the easy part, to say I would do it.
Yeah.
It took me about 5 years to write it. This wonderful lady that worked for me, Rachel, at 4 o'clock every afternoon, she'd say, "Okay, shut your computer down, come out to my desk, and just start talking about things that you remember." And I said, "How am I going to remember stuff 60 plus years ago?" And I talked to somebody who wrote a book about their life, and they said, "Bill, if you focus on that period of time, things will come back." And surprisingly, they did. So she said, "Don't worry about chronological order.
Yeah, just talk." Yeah.
So the funny thing about it was I would do that, and we did that for an hour every day for about 15 months.
Wow.
And the funny part was I would tell stories, and she said, "No, don't put that one in." Scratch that.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was pretty interesting. Yeah. No, it's not. So it took me a while because I kid her about this. She had the audacity to get married and have a child and not work for me anymore, and so everything stopped.
Yeah.
Until my wife got on my case and said, "You got to get this thing
Finish the book." Yeah.
But one of the things that was another emotional period was when I was a child, I had to stay in a hospital twice for 6 months, which I chronicled in the book. Once to have my leg amputated, and the second time to be fitted for an artificial limb. And so my wife said, "You want to go back and visit that hospital.
Sure.
That would bring back memories." Well, it brought even more than that. It was an incredible journey. It was in upstate New York. Back then, it was a hospital specifically for kids with disabilities, and kids would literally stay there for years or months. They had school there. They had everything. It was still 6 months. So as a 7-year-old, that was another
trying.
But anyway, and that spurred me on.
Yep.
I finally got it done in 2014. It's called Shorthanded, which this administrator of mine came up with. I thought, okay, all right, Shorthanded. That's appropriate. Yeah. Shorthanded, a young boy's triumph over adversity. And I finally got it done, and I'm so happy I did it. It was a therapeutic experience.
Yes.
Because throughout the book, I just continue to thank people for their contribution to my life.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, Becca Yinko, Becca's on here, and Jim Yinko, they also kind of inform me of who you are and what you're about. I think Jim says he can beat you in a round of golf. I'm not sure if that's true.
No, he can't.
But Becca commented on here, and there's a local baseball organization called the Cottage Sluggers, run by a couple of gentlemen that live in the community. Okay. It's incredible. Teams are formed with local kids, and they play baseball all summer and train all winter, kind of thing. And so they would love to, contribute to the cause, and obviously, help when there's Becca, help when needed. So the Cottage Grove Sluggers will be there.
That would be great. Jim, I still will beat you in golf.
Becca, make sure you tell Jim that. All right. Well, Bill, incredible story. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of yours. When I heard your presentation, I knew I wanted to get involved, and
Appreciate that.
I'm happy to contribute. I wanted to do this to get your message out and encourage others to help Bill with this quest to raise $420,000.
We got 240 to go.
And you mentioned that there is a, kind of that deadline. We're trying to get, so the next 3 months, we need to get that 240.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah,
If you guys, watching, know someone that may be interested in whether it's, $10, $20, $1,000, $50,000, whatever the case, please get them in touch with Bill, and at least lead them to the website, because once you hear his story and visit with Bill, I promise that there'll be something of interest for you, and it is for a lot of people. So Cottage Grove's excited for the opportunity too, and Bakken Park will never be the same once this facility is in place. And I, as a longtime resident of Cottage Grove, look forward to checking out a game and
they're inspiring. They're inspiring, and I'd love to have and they already have the village of Cottage Grove really take pride in this, take ownership of it, be an investor in it. That would be fabulous.
Bill,
thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and let's get these funds.
And thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you.